It was many a time ago. This story starts in Fortnite Season 10, or Season X. It was just one day, and all of a sudden, this guy and many other dudes, well, technically there were females as well. Okay, but right now, we're following the story of Ultima Knight. He just woke up someday, like near Dusty Depot. He just starts looking around. He's confused where he is, and then he sees the OG factory. He's just like, oh hey, those look pretty cool, but he has no idea where he is, why he's even there, and also just what's going on in general. Like, what is this island? He doesn't have any memories. Where is he? He needs help. He has no idea where he's from. He has no idea who he is. He kind of thinks he knows who he is, but he doesn't have a full idea. Either way, he's now on the island, and yeah, he just kind of like starts exploring. He does a bit of battle royales. He sucks a lot, and well, you know, like average newbie things. But however, he starts hearing things about like other people, kind of like him, just appearing. And what's weird is that apparently they're actually like people who were on the island, other people who are well known on the island. So he kind of went like, that's kind of strange. I need to go maybe see these other people. And so he does. He ends up meeting someone named Eternal Voyager. They both then go on to meet the rest of the Season X Battle Pass skins. And they just keep on going on. Everything was going well. However, they started hearing more and more things about like what's going on this island, this past. They start to have a feeling that everything's not right. But however, at the same time, the rift zones are coming into the game, and actually, there were rumors of something strange happening at Neo Tilted. While Ultima Knight and Eternal Voyager were investigating, bam! It happened. The rift zone had appeared, and they were so confused. Now Tilted Town was in the game and they were exploring it. And things like this proceeded to happen. Like, then the other rift zones came to the game. Each time they kept on getting more and more confused. But at the same time they also got more and more answers. However, eventually, Dusty Depot, the rocket, had began to be made there. And also, as you can see, is the skin that I am right now. Well, you know, Ultima Knight found the scientist and got his back bling, because of course he did. However, you know, just, yeah. Either way, him and Eternal Voyager and smart people that they knew were still investigating the area. They were wondering what is going on. Why are they here? And why are they like other people who were here? I want to say before them, but technically they were still there. And they're still here to this day. It's very scary. Now I do want to point out something. Is this just me just talking about something cool, like cool story things I came up with a long time ago? I'm still kind of thinking of them today. Yeah, but now probably like every single week I'll make like another video like, explaining like what's happened to the characters, because it won't just be Ultima Knight, trust me. He's just our main guy right now. Yeah, back to the story. So anyways, you know, like yeah, Ultima Knight just does what he does. He's just vibing, you know. He's just vibing, you know. He's just existing. However, the end event is coming, and he knows it. He's heard about it. He's seen the timers. He's heard all the things. He's heard about the other events. He started to piece things together. And then when it happens, he sees all the crazy events. Him and all of his friends. Now, at this point in time, some of his friends are just average loopers again. He feels pity for them. He feels bad. He feels bad that now they're forced to be those again. Well, actually, they were really never them to begin with. They just kind of skipped down on that step of the process of the loop. They just kind of got to skip getting a win. However, nowadays, now, at least the ones that aren't common loopers, now at least get wins occasionally. We all know getting a Vicroy is hard. Anyways, yes, getting a Vicroy is hard. We all know that. It's not new. However, it just felt so impossible back then. It was definitely. There was a lot more soccer skins back then. It was just madness! However, nowadays you might know we're in Chapter 2. And then they all saw the end event. It was insane. And now we have this new Chapter 2 map. None of this sideways stuff or so like sludgy swamper IO bases. We didn't even know what the IO was back then. And we sure as heck haven't seen Kevin in a while. However, we actually have the remains of Dusty Depot here, or as it's called now, Dusted Depot. Let's go check it out. Can't believe I'm back here. Oh no, I hear someone. Hear a looper. No! Alright, there we go. Yes, the place the rocket was built. It was built in this location that you're seeing right now. Yes, things pretty strange. When Chapter 2 came along, things actually got pretty normal and happy. Nothing bad was going on. Actually, nothing really interesting happened until Chapter 2, Season 3, when Eternal Voyager became a normal looper. He had been crushed by Thor's hammer. This was very sad for Ultima Knight. The worst part was that that only happened to him because he refused to trust cars. He was on a boat on land. He only started trusting boats that season because there was no way to avoid them. However, if he just had a car, and he wouldn't have been able to avoid that. But because he was in a boat, he couldn't. He already used his boost. He couldn't boost out the way, so then he got crushed, turning him into a normal looper. But one thing was for sure: there were fishies everywhere. They were there. They were thriving then. This is where our next character comes in. Our next character that we'll mostly hear about, at least now. Fishstick had entered. Well, not really entered, but well, it just became important in the story. However, you know, everything was fine for all the fishies. The only problem was the sharks, and even then, they weren't even that bad. The cars were also in the game, which was also incredibly cool, which was awesome. However, when cars came, that also meant one thing: the water levels were lowering, and the fish did not like that. That was very sad for them. And then, when Chapter 2, Season 4 happened, well, our characters so far, you know, Eternal Voyager was still a looper. Ultima Knight had actually gotten stuck inside the Stark Industries landmass, and X-Lord had also gotten stuck in there. However, his head was poking out. However, his head was also inside of a tree. It was very annoying. He could never get out. However, when it finally went away, we had then entered Chapter 2, Season 5. And this is when things really started to pick up. Let's go. Now the Sandalorians were in play. They're doing their favorite dance ever. Let's go. Shouldn't all people know, never fight a Mandalorian. It's just, you know, the #1 rule of Season 5. At least it was. However, Sandalorians, there's only one left now. That wasn't important though. Sandalorians were thriving back then. Back when there was sand all across here. There was so much sand and everything was perfect. However, things are not always perfect. There were always problems. The 0 point started to get crazy. However, we also probably introduced another character, Man Cake. He was just kind of vibing down at the butter barn, you know, being Man Cake. You know, as you do, it's just pretty average for him. But when you have this kind of problem, you can always rely on a Mandalorian to fix things. Although, sometimes Mandalorians can't always get the job done. However, luckily, because there were so many, it was just so easy. Well, what else would you expect from like 7 Mandalorians, other than actual perfection? Either way, now the Mandalorian was important, and everything was very cool. However, things were just not meant to be. That's when the Mandalorian, the Sandalorian, I should say, himself, went up with Agent Jonesy in the Foundation and had to seal the 0 point. And then Well, then it happened. There was only 2 Sandalorians left, and now we are in season 6. However, things are wild this season. There were so many animals and crazy things going on. No one knew what was going on. Yes, very tragic. However, one of the last Sandalorians, more like one of the last 2. The others had been trapped underground as they were all inside the sand. However, the second last one had been killed. He's not been seen since then. It's very sad, isn't it? It is. It's very sad to lose your only brother. However, now, instead of calling this man the last Sandalorian, instead of calling him that, we're going to call him Dragon. However, you may be wondering, but Airboy, what happened to the other characters? Weren't there others? Well, yes. No, actually, Sandalorian had actually started to piece things together. He had learned things about how Batman had escaped the loop. He just couldn't copy it. He wasn't able to. And then he also met our people, like our old pal Ultima Knight. But that's not the most important thing. The most important thing right now is that actually, even though these people had hated each other desperately back then, because, water and sand don't go very well together. At least, you know how it goes. Water hardens the sand, there's no water for the fish, and there's no sinking sand for the Sandalorians. However, these tough circumstances brought our old pal Fishstick and our new pal, the Sandalorian, together. They were able to conquer the problems. However, something funny was that Fishstick was able to get the device. Yes, he was able to. Don't ask me how. I don't know. He never said. He never said when I was interviewing him. He also refused to acknowledge the existence of the fact that he's a character inside of a video game. But whatever. That's his problem. Either way, him and the Sandalorian, best friends. That's what they were. Best friends. However, there's another story. Man Cake. And someone else from the Season X Battle Pass. Yonder. Yes, I think that's what it is, because I think the original was DJ Yonder, and the new one was Yonder, but instead of an E, it was a 3. Either way, we'll just call them Yonder. And both of them, they had tamed a pack of 20 wolves, and were very powerful. Don't worry, they were allies with Dragon and Fishstick. They were just perfect. However, when the invasion happened, all went south. Fishstick had been abducted by the aliens. Yes, it was very tragic. Sandalorian was very sad. Speaking of the Sandalorian, he now held a device. And his goal was to save Fishstick, even if it meant teaming up with Dr. Sloan. He had learned even more things about what was happening. He'd helped the I.O. Not all the time. Sometimes very untrusting of them. But he still helped them sometimes, occasionally. He at least did something to try and help his friend. Yes, he did. I still remember what happened that day during Operation Skyfire. Sloan, she betrayed us. And I ended up here. There was a sideways bubble here. I couldn't do anything. I didn't know what to do. I was on like 10 HP. And I had no weapons. I couldn't pickaxe my way out of this one either. I didn't even know where my pickaxe was. I found this axe though, so that's good. However, there's only one thing I could have done. I had thrown the device at the sideways pillar thing. I don't know what it's called to this day still. All I know is I did it because I saw it. A mythic or legendary sideways fiend coming straight towards me. And I had no idea what to do. So I just did that. And all of a sudden, bam. It all got sucked up. And all of a sudden I actually gained a new ability. I'd gained the ability of teleportation. It was awesome. I can now teleport anywhere I wanted. So it was just amazing. I would then go on to use this power to find out more about the loop. I found out how to actually escape it, and I brought my friends with me. However, there are more stories must be told. On to the next person. Now, have any of you ever heard of some man named Zig? I think controlled by this little green booger thing right here. Now, this man, or this more like this alien, had something happen to him. He had landed apparently in the same place. However, he was actually able to make his way out of there. Because, he's a robot. However, he was missing a pickaxe and his glider. That was strange indeed. However, Zig, he was different. He actually went on and left Holly Hedges. Yes, I think I already said this, or at least the Santalorian might have said this, I don't remember. Either way, Zig went on to camp in bushes the entire round. He had actually found another Zig's pickaxe, however it was a blue one, so it didn't match him, but it still worked. And he had actually gotten the victory royale by quickly killing the last guy because he was super low. He was a one hit with a scar, and he had actually found a golden scar by pure chance. Now, however, Zig just studies the cubes. He embraces the cubes. He will support the queen if he must. He will do what is required of him, even if it means murder! He will do what he must do. He will do it. He'll do it. He'll do it. He swears. He swears he will bring anyone to tears for the queen. He is simping. He wants the queen. Zig will do what he must for the queen at all cost. He will do it, no matter what. The queen says go back and fight an unfair fight. He'll do it, even if it means he could die very easily. He'll do it. He'll fight them. He'll fight them to his last robotic clanking sound of victory. But those are all dark and moody stories. How about a nice goofy story of a man named Fish Stick, or as the locals call him, Tuna Fish. He had washed up on shore, alone, scared. He had no idea what was going on. He lost his memories. However, don't worry, over time he gained them back. He remembered all of his friends from before and even gathered back up with them. Met them in some sort of mysterious bunker near Weeping Woods. It was so strange. He had seen many things, like the locals fighting. He didn't even know why they were. But either way, he had made peace with some, and they traveled with him. They kept going. He saw many things. He saw wolves. He saw I.O. outposts. He saw sideways areas. It was all new to him. He had eventually met someone named Fabio Sparkleman, who would help him out for the rest of his journey to find all of his friends. He eventually met back up with them in some sort of weird bunker in Weeping Woods, as we've already mentioned. However, it's very strange. It's all just so strange. Him and his friend Fabio, they actually met someone. They actually met someone named Tuna Meowsles, who had talked about where he came from and crazy things like that. However, Tuna Fish had no idea what this all meant. However, one fateful day, he had heard about his friend Santalorian, and he kept hearing about him constantly. The Santalorian had forgotten something. He had never mentioned the I.O. and what he tried to do to get revenge. First up for apparently me, because he thought I was dead. Little did he know, I wasn't. Only just different and all toony or whatever, as the locals call it. I think that's what they call it. I don't really know anymore. I just kind of say I just kind of don't really good with English. I'm not really good at really anything in conversations. My brain feels all scrambled, if you know what I'm saying. Because that's exactly what the aliens were doing to me when they were mind controlling me. Huh. Well, I'll be darned. Either way, Fish Stick still had to fight, even if he could die. Just like so. But what was this so-called story? Well, the story was that the Sandalorian, driven by rage and revenge, not even a week into this new season, as they're called, he had went up to Sloane after hearing that she was still on the island in the loop with the rest of the loopers, just being there, just vibing. And he went up with his new sword training, taught by a little someone special you'll hear about later. And he had killed both of her clones and was about to stab right through her, killing her forever. Because she wasn't a looper, she was just an average person from the real world. Oh boy, she would have been dead, good as dead, if it weren't for one of her I.O. guards pulling up in a truck and hitting him with it. Oh boy, that really messed up his weird rift teleportation powers. It set him flying. And funny enough, I only know about this because when he went flying, he hit the car that me and Fabio were actually going through the air in because we hit an alien bouncer pad like that one. Yeah, this one right here. But we were down here Misty Meadow, so wasn't that exact one, but it still counts. And then we saw him teleport away. I think he actually went back to season 10 or something, because that's what I heard him talk about one time. That was pretty crazy. I think he even said he was nerd dudes, and he actually might have saw them back then, which seems pretty cool. I wonder if he saw me back then, because I know I looked different back then. Oh boy, it would have been pretty cool, wouldn't it have been? But it's finally time to go back to those original season 10ers. Yes, I guess it is time. Indeed. We're now finally back talking about Ultima Knight. And he had actually been the one who stolen Zig's glider, if I didn't mention it earlier. His glider was stolen. Ha, Ultima Knight, you cheeky boy. However, for anyone who does not know, and that everyone here does not know, Ultima Knight actually started teaching how to be a sword or samurai master. And he had even taught the Sandalorian or dragon. Of course, he was taught by someone, but he had been more open to teachings. They were free. He had to pay like 500 gold for it. And we all know that's a ripoff. What's an even bigger ripoff is 4,000 gold large tips to the bus driver. We all know you don't give that big of tips. You spend hours grinding that much. Imagine doing that. You don't even get an achievement for it. At least give me an achievement that gives me like 2 levels. At least make it worth it. Yes, Ultima Knight had actually been alive this entire time. He'd been laying low. However, now he had been laying higher. And now he actually come face to face with someone he had not seen in a long time. X-Lord. X-Lord. He only used old things. He never got that many wings. We heard about him earlier. However, he wasn't really important back then. But now they were there to fight. It was him versus X-Lord. And the battle went on. However, Ultima Knight actually got the upper hand, stabbing right through the chest of X-Lord. And when Ultima Knight was about to deal the finishing blow, because X-Lord had only came at Ultima Knight because he was embracing the new. And X-Lord did not like such things. So someone old had came back to stop him. And his name was Yonder. Yonder and Mancake had actually freed themselves from the loop. And by that I mean they got a dub. And then they were free to do whatever they wanted again. Sort of like in battle like what we're seeing here. And yes. And now they were now taking care of X-Lord because he was now crippled. Very sad for him. Very sad. Ultima Knight still feels guilty about that to this day. He was too hard. He just might have been a bit too extreme. At the same time, when your old friend tries to kill you, what else are you gonna do? Just let him do it. Ultima Knight was doing it in self-defense, so he at least has that to say. And why he should not be like arrested or anything for such things. However, we all know that there's still more. We all know what happened to, well, oh, whoa, is his face again? Eternal Voyager! We all kind of forgot about him. Well, you guys probably did. I didn't know. And a lot of our people. And what Ultima Knight did to help X-Lord was amazing. He actually went to the same person whose hammer had killed him, Thor, and had asked him for help. Him, Dragon, or the last Sandalorian, and Thor had gone out with Eternal Voyager as a normal looper, went to a squads match, and had got him to dub. Or at least it would have been a more logical option, but instead they all just kind of teamed. At least they protected him in a solos match because they just didn't want to try to negotiate with a normal, looper on how to team up, because that's really hard to do without lots of trust in yourself and the person that you're going with. Eternal Voyager didn't even know who they were. Well, he did before, but at least do Ultima Knight, but he didn't know these other guys. If he was willing to, at least if he knew everyone there does know now. It's hard to explain. Either way, they got the dub, and he was a normal person again. Yes. However, there's still more to the story indeed. Now we're on to Eternal Voyager. Now, yes, they had a mission. J.B. Chimpansky had actually been kidnapped. And him, and Dragon, and also Ultima Knight, they had all gone to save him, and they did. And now J.B. Chimpansky was on their side as well. The I.O. had not saved him yet, so it's not exactly preferred. Either way, he was helping their cause. So, I can only assume now the I.O. are just not very good people. And now, however, something awful is happening. With, X-Lord being crippled, it's kind of hard for him to do anything. He can't, do much. It's making him very depressed. He doesn't know what to do anymore. It's just also depressing. Luckily, with the help of J.B. Chimpansky and some other efforts, they're at least able to try and at least build him, some devices to try and at least keep him moving again, normal, walking around. But either way, he was always limping and he could barely move. It still always hurt. But at least he could get somewhere now. They were making progress, but they would not make any more progress with this technology. They'd have to rely on something else. They'd never figure out, but he would. He would find a way to fix this himself. And yes, indeed he did. He did a real fine job at doing that. Indeed he did. Oh, he was so great. Oh yeah, and don't forget, we can't forget that, what's his face? We cannot forget that, what was his face again? Mancake and, Yonder, have tamed a new pack of wolves. Hooray! It's kind of weird saying that as I just murdered a wolf. Or more. Yep, definitely weird. Very weird indeed. In this spot, we all know things went down. At least back when it was the aftermath, because Boney Burbs was there. And, however, something insane had happened. X-Lord, barely moving, and his team was down. He had found it, the Cardant symbiote. He had actually merged with it permanently, turning him into a carnage. And, however, the symbiote's only able to keep him moving. It can't keep him all powered up and glider redeployed and all those other things. But at least he can now function like he was able to before. And yes. And now the Cube Town is here, or the Convergence. Now him and his friends now are preparing for the Queen to eventually come out of the bubble in the sky. Oh, that Queen. The worst part is they also know that some people actually support the Queen. Well, not very many. The amount of people who don't support the Queen definitely outweighs the amount that do, because the Queen has done lots of bad things to people. Lots of them. Either way, now they're just planning on what's going to happen next. So yes. And now also, I might want to mention, even though I think I did earlier, the Sandalorian, he had actually brought some people outside the loop. As yes, everyone has started to find some other loopers. However, the Sandalorian found a way to get out the loop just like Batman did. And now, him and Fishstick are now long gone. However, unfortunately, they don't want to go back to their respective worlds because they'll be separated. But if they don't, then they'll end up getting sucked back into the loop. If anything happens, like at the black hole event, it'll suck them straight back into the loop. And they don't want that. So yeah. But they're not going to split up again. They're best friends now, and they stick together. So, yes. I guess they'll come back in Chapter 3. However, now that this is out the way, I just want to talk about how I'll probably make videos like these every week, but they won't be as long because I had to explain all sorts of seasons. And also, well, yeah, I don't really expect for much to come. Well, actually, I expect for some to come next week. But I don't expect for much I don't expect for it to be for them all to all be this long. This is actually a pretty long video for my newer videos. But either way, I hope you guys enjoyed. I want to keep doing this because I like doing this. I like making stories, and it's it's just a lot easier when someone's already kind of writing the story for you. You just have to put in your own characters into it. It's just fun. See, so it's all just fun in games. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. They'll probably be playing as more of those skins later, because now that I've actually explained this sort of stuff. And now, I die to a bot. Or not, psych! You got fooled! You got bamboozled!